Today's incident will awaken your soul, so it is a request to watch the incident till the end. What happened to a prostitute and what happened to her daughter? The incident was told by the girl herself. The girl says, "I was trapped in sorrow and pain during this time, and at this moment life started messing with me, and I reached another stage. Mother's corpse was lying in front, and I was the only one sitting next to crying. After Mother's death, the people of the neighborhood came to know, but none of them came to our house. There was only one reason, and everyone knew about it. That was because my mother was a prostitute, and everyone in the area knew this. But Allah would forgive his sin, but people cannot forget it. They continue to punish even after death. And for this reason, even after the death of the mother, no one came for her funeral. I was sitting alone, crying and looking at my mother. I didn't understand how I would finish my mother's burial work. How do I take the mother's grave? I had no relatives, and I didn't know anyone. Thinking about all these things, I was depressed, and I didn't understand how to ask for help. Mother did not let me even touch the air of outside, and she never let me leave the house. Then, when my mother died, and all the burden fell on me, I did not understand anything at that time, that how can I do all this? So I can't come up thinking. But I bravely came out and knocked on the neighbors' doors and asked them for help. But they directly refused and said, "We can't go to your filthy house, so you leave now." Whether you are a Hindu or a Muslim, watch the video till the end. Friends, before starting the video, let's pray a little. Oh Allah, save us from sin and adultery. Everyone write amen in the comments and give a like to this video. And those who have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. The like target of this video is 10,000. So, like this video in the morning. So let's begin. One by one, I knocked on the doors of the entire neighborhood, but no one helped me. In the meantime, I saw a beggar ahead. That beggar was watching me knock on everyone's house, so he asked me what happened, who do you expect help from, and why do you want help? I told him everything. I was sad at that time, due to which I told all the things openly. He also started regretting after hearing everything. Then he said, "If you don't mind, I can help you." I was waiting for it. Then I was able to take my mother to the cemetery. Waiting for a long time, I was sitting alone in the cemetery with my mother's funeral, and every moment my insides were drying up. Here, I was very scared, and I was looking around. I didn't understand what I should do. For a moment, I felt that I should leave here, but looking at my mother, I felt that I could not leave her like this. Then while waiting, when it was 12 o'clock, a sound came from somewhere. When I looked there, I saw someone walking, and what I saw was beyond words. My name is Mariam, and I am a young girl of 21 years. I lived alone with my mother in a small house. From childhood, I grew up watching my mother, who used to pray and read the Quran very, very much. She always covered her head, and whenever the adhan was called, she would get up in response to the adhan and perform ablution and pray. During prayer, tears would fall from her eyes. She used to go into sajda crying and would not lift her head from sajda for a long time. When I used to see mother praying, I used to stand near her and do the same as she did. I did not know the rules of prayer until now, and I didn't even know what to read at that time. But I liked it very much when mother used to pray. Because of this, I used to stand with a scarf, and because of this, I got into the habit of praying from my childhood, and I used to pray like my mother. My mother enrolled me in a good school among the neighborhood. She herself used to take me to school and bring me back. We did not go to anyone's house in the neighborhood. I didn't have any female friends. No one friend shipped with us. If they became friends, they would break the friendship by themselves. I was 5 years old at this time. When I told my mother about this, she told me to keep quiet, and she used to say that I will explain everything to you in time. I used to look at my mother like an obstinate. But one day when my mother was going to send me to school, she met a beggar on the street and he bowed his hands in front of my mother. Mother gave him a note of 10 taka, and then a woman started coming from behind us, and that woman lived next door to our house. The woman looked at mother in disgust and said, "Pater, don't take this note. She is a prostitute and her earnings are haram." Mother became very sad and remained silent. The beggar also looked at mother with disgust and left, throwing the note. Mother did not say anything to them and remained silent. I could see the obvious sadness on my mother's face and the word stuck in my head, which is prostitute. Mother could not get out of this grief for 2 or 3 days, and that's when I asked my mother about prostitution, and she said that I will explain everything to you in time. Mother said, "You are too young to understand this." Now this word started spinning in my head. If I heard this word anywhere, I would immediately look at my mother. Many times I asked my mother why the people of the neighborhood do not come to our house, and why don't they invite us to their homes. Then mother used to smile sadly and say that they are still ignorant and they don't know the truth. You stop thinking about all these things. I used to keep quiet because of my mother, but as I grew up, then the conversation of people started coming to my ears, and I started asking more and more questions to my mother. I started asking her, "What is a prostitute?" But mother used to quiet me as always. As I grew up, mother started to pray more and more, and I don't know what she wanted while crying to Allah. I just watched her silently, but mother did not answer any questions. Another thing that I have noticed is how our house costs. Then how does it runs? Mother doesn't work, and neither my father was present, and I didn't know anything about father. When I asked mum about father, still she quite me and forbade me to ask about him. I did not even know if he is alive. And if alive, then where is he? And why is he not with us? There were so many questions that were swirling in my head, and mother had the answer to all those questions. After doing good results in school, I went to college. Then my mother told me never listen to anyone and never trust any boy. Boys are not worth of faith. Mother explained to me in a way that made me remember that no boy can be mean. I have knowledge, but mother brought me up at home in such a way that I could not be clever, but the rest of the kids my age were very clever. I never paid attention to anyone's words and did not get involved in anyone's talk. I had no female friend. I used to go to college alone and come back home alone. Now I go to college myself. But whenever I went home, my mother would ask me, "Have you not talked to any boy today?" Now I'm fugacious that my mother asks me this question every time. Why? This is why I always say to my mother, "Don't you believe me? Why do you always say these words? Why would I talk to boys? I go there to study. I don't go to talk to boys." At that time, mother's eyes would get teary, and she would say, "I am saying this for your sake. When people are young, they make many mistakes. And you are so innocent, this world is not for you. There are many people in this world who destroy us and left us, and we couldn't even understand." I would always take a deep breath and tell mum that nothing would happen like this. I will only focus on my studies. It's being said that whatever we want to get away from, that thing comes right in front of us. One day on my way to college, a group of boys were passing by me. They seemed educated. One of them looked at me and I looked at him. The boy was very handsome and looked like a son of a rich family. I just glanced at him once, but I don't know, his thought was not leaving my mind. I started thinking about his face all day long. My mother always told me to stay away from these things, so I believed that I would not trust anyone. The boy kept looking at me and I looked away, but my face would turn red with blush. At that day too, I returned home, but it seemed that the boy was still looking at me. I often hide my face and sometimes hide my face under the pillow. My attitude changed. I was smiling thinking about that boy in my room. I did not understand when mother came into the room and started saying, "Mariam, is everything okay? You just keep smiling." Mother's prediction was such that it lifted my soul. I jerked up and said, "No, nothing like that. I was just thinking." Mother said, "Asked me what you're thinking." Then mother sat in front of me. I can't say what the truth is. I couldn't lie. After many attempts, I lied to mother. I said a girl fell in class today and I was laughing after thinking about her. Mother said it is a bad thing. It is not right to laugh at someone. If you make fun of someone, then he gets hurt. I told mother, "Forgive me. I will not do such a thing from now on." Mother said okay, and after that asked me to come for food and left. I breathed a sigh of happiness because I managed my mum with a lot of difficulty. But if it continued like this in the future, then how would I handle mother? How would I respond to mother? I had to do something. I couldn't hide my feelings and I couldn't tell my mother the truth, and if I told this to my mother, she would have stopped me from going to college. One day when I came home from college, our neighbor stood outside and started saying that a prostitute's daughter is a prostitute. Study as much as you want, but everyone will call you prostitute's daughter. I looked at the woman in shock and said, "Auntie, why are you behind us? What did Mum actually said to you?" As a result of which repeatedly calls prostitute. Then she came to me and said, "If you don't believe me, go and ask your mother if she is not a prostitute. Does he not satisfy the youth of men?" Were these words or stabbings of knife which I felt in my heart. I thought that no matter what, I will get to know today knowing everything. Then I went to Mum and my breath was puffy with anger. Opening the door, Mother saw me and said, "What happened? Is everything okay?" I threw my book and bag on the sofa in a spring of anger and sat down on the other sofa. My mother saw this situation for the first time. She quickly got scared and came to me and said, "My mother, tell me what happened." I said to my mother, "Why does everyone call you a whore?" And today the auntie said a lot of strange things. You quenched the youth of men. And today she questioned me. She said, "If your mother is so good, then tell who is your father. Now you tell me, what can I do? Where is my father? Is my father alive or dead? You said you would tell me everything in time, but you never told me anything. Whenever I asked a question, you quite me. Now tell me what is the true." Mum was listening to me with her eyes open, and tears were falling from the eyes. Mum was going to shut me up, but she didn't have the courage to shut me up. She started saying, "I can't tell you anything now because I don't want to lose you. I know you will hate me when you know the truth as the whole world does, but none of that was my fault. Yes, my only sin was that I did not listen to my parents. I committed a sin by lying and hiding from them, for which I have been punished all my life and am still suffering. But I don't want you to live like this, so I forbid you again and again." I told my mother, "Which sin?" Mother said, "You are still very young. I don't want to give you pressure. I want you to get married in a good home. Then I will tell you all the facts." I told Mother, "I will not study until I know the truth." Mum got worried and said, "What is this kind of work? Don't do this kind of work." I started shouting, "Till the truth comes out, people of this world will keep talking like this." Mother started crying and said, "It would be better if I could tell you these words." Seeing my mother crying, I also felt bad. That's why I took a deep breath and wiped my tears and hugged her and said, "Okay, when you feel better, Mother, tell me then." She used to tell me this many times, "If I die, no one will come to my funeral. So you take me to the cemetery and my funeral will be done after 12 o'clock at night." I was always surprised by my mother's words. I used to say, "Don't tell this kind of things, and if you say so, then tell me the reason why you have so much faith that your funeral will be read." She used to smile and say, "It has been on sight of my eye, so that's why I'm telling you this." I often used to tell Mother, "Mother, we shall leave this place and go somewhere else." Mother used to say, "Where will we go except this house? I have no other address, and since half of my life is over, Mother did not want to go anywhere else from now on." But Mother would not tell me the truth. My faith in love was lost from then. When her mother told that she loved a boy in her youth, it was a story filled with both passion and heartbreak. Her mother made her understand a lot, but she was drowned in love at that time, just as I was currently seeing love. Mother wanted to marry that boy. As a result, the boy took the opportunity and trapped my mother, running away with all the gold ornaments. Mother became lonely, and as she left home, she had nowhere else to go. That boy took all of my mother's belongings and left her in a brothel, selling her there. 2 weeks after the boy's departure, Mother became pregnant, and a man bought her from the brothel and set her free. Maybe Allah forgave my mother the way she used to pray while crying, but her life became more difficult. After that, she had to answer various words of people. Then she returned to her parents. My grandparents were very old, and as a result, they forgave her. When they saw a girl child in my mother's hands, they felt sympathy, and that kid was me. Maternal grandfather and grandmother left the world without being able to tolerate people's harshness. After that, Mother took care of me and listened to people's judgments, but she never left me alone. She always watched over me so that what happened to her would not happen to me, but Allah tests some people. As a result, I was happily raised because of the test that my mother gave. I promised my mother that I would get married wherever she said. I stopped going to college and started preparing for exams at home. Suddenly, one day, Mother fell very ill. She said, "I don't have much time as I have a terrible disease." That disease had been present for a long time, but its results were visible now. Mother fell into bed, and I was always by her side, tending to her and crying, saying, "Mother, don't leave me alone." One day I woke up after hearing Mum's strange voice and saw her tongue sticking out. I started shouting and calling my mother, but Mother was not responding. Mother had left this world and my whole world was shaken by her departure. People of all neighborhoods came to know, but no one even came to see her face. Then I have taken to the graveyard with the help of a beggar, as Mother said no one would come to her funeral. I took to the cemetery with the help of the man and waited. When it was 12 o'clock, a group of people started arriving, and when I saw them, I was blown away, because those people were brothel people. But one of them also had an familiar look. Once Mother showed me a picture of Father, and that person was my father. People from the brothel came forward and read Mother's funeral. My father was also among them. Only few people were there. Then when my father came to me and put his hand on my head, I quickly moved back and said, "Don't touch me. I hate people like you. Do you have any shame? You should die." After that, he started crying and said, "I got the punishment for what I did to your mother. I have suffered punishment in the world. Forgive me, I owe you too. I didn't get a chance to apologize to your mother, but at least you can forgive me." I said to my father, "I will never forgive you. You caused my mother a lot of pain. My mother a noble woman, but you have stained her character and stained my character. If my mother had not told me, I would not have known who is my real father. Why did you do this? What harm did I do to you?" I made him listen to me, and he listened to me in silence. I told him, "You will not come in front of me after today. If not, I don't know myself what I will do with you." Saying that, I came out of the graveyard, and crying made me sick. I came to my house and started crying. After my mother left, I was left alone, and I knew that from now on, I would have to stand on my own feet. And that day, I decided that I will not marry and will not trust any man. After that, I forgot my love and started working to earn a lot, and slowly I started earning respect and earning. People where I worked respected me a lot. Now the people of the neighborhood also talked to me well. Now they didn't think about whose daughter I was, they only thought about my business. So guys, this was our video today. If you liked the video, then must give it a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have any opinion about the video, then let us know by giving a comment. See you in the next video. Allah Hafez.